They fired me at 4:57 p.m. on a Friday, not 5 o'clock, not even the decency of a clean hour. 4:57, 3 minutes before the weekend. That's corporate America for you, cold, calculated, and cowardly. I was halfway through packing up my laptop when HR tapped on my cubicle wall. You know, that fake soft knock, the one that says, "We're about to ruin your life, but we're smiling about it." "Hey, Jordan, can you step into the conference room for a sec?" "Yeah." I knew the air in that glass box felt different, too still, too rehearsed. My boss, Mark, "We're like family here," was already sitting down, hands folded like he was about to say grace at Thanksgiving. Only this wasn't grace. This was execution. "We've decided to go in a different direction." Different direction. That's corporate for, we squeezed everything we could out of you. I didn't argue, didn't beg, didn't flinch. I just leaned back in the chair and let the silence stretch. Because here's the thing about me, I pay attention. I knew where every contract was buried. I knew which client hated Mark's guts. I knew which deal was hanging by dental floss. And most importantly, I knew who really kept this company alive. The biggest account on our books, 8 figures a year, was mine. I built that relationship from scratch. Late-night flights, steak dinners, handshakes in rainstorms. I didn't just manage that client, I owned their trust. Mark cleared his throat. "We'll escort you out." Escort, like I was about to steal office supplies or something. I stood up slowly. Calm, too calm. "Sure," I said. No hard feelings, but inside, oh, there were feelings, not loud ones, not messy ones, cold ones, the kind that sit quiet and wait. As I walked past my team, I saw the look in their eyes, shock, fear, some of them knew. If they could fire me, the revenue machine, nobody was safe. The elevator doors closed, and that's when I smiled, because they thought they took something from me. What they didn't realize, they just handed me leverage. By the time I hit the parking garage, I wasn't unemployed, I was dangerous. And come Monday morning, they were going to understand exactly who they messed with. Saturday morning, most people would be panic updating their resume. Not me. I was sitting at my kitchen counter, black coffee in hand, staring at one name in my contacts list, Daniel Mercer, CEO, visionary, and the biggest client my former company had. We'd closed a monster deal together 2 years ago. I'd flown out during a snowstorm to make it happen, slept in an airport, missed Thanksgiving. Mark took the credit. Daniel knew better. I didn't call Friday night. That would have looked desperate. You never make moves when you're emotional. You wait, you let the silence build. At exactly 10:03 a.m., I hit dial. He picked up on the second ring. "Jordan, thought you'd be in the office." Pause. "Funny story," I said, leaning back in my chair. "I'm not." Silence on the line, the kind that means somebody just connected dots. "They let you go?" he asked. "Yesterday, 3 minutes before 5. A low whistle. "That's bold, bold. Yeah, that's one word for it." "I figured you should hear it from me," I said calmly. "Especially considering I built your entire expansion strategy." Another pause, this one heavier. "Mark didn't tell us anything," Daniel said. "Of course he didn't. Mark probably thought I'd disappear quietly." "Wrong. I didn't pitch Daniel right away. That's amateur hour. Instead, I planted doubt." "You might want to double-check who's managing your account now," I said. "Last I heard, they reassigned it to someone who's never handled a portfolio your size." That landed. I could hear it in his breathing. "That true, I'd hate for your Q3 projections to take a hit," I added. "But hey, not my company anymore." Let the silence work. Daniel exhaled slowly. "Come see me Monday." There it was. I smiled, slow, controlled. "I'll be there." When I hung up, I didn't celebrate. I opened my laptop. LLC registration, already drafted. Business bank account, in progress. Investor contact list, organized. See, I wasn't starting from zero. I was starting from experience. And the best part, my old company had a non-compete clause, but they forgot one tiny detail. It only applied if I resigned. They fired me. Big difference. By Sunday night, everything was ready. Documents printed, proposal refined, numbers airtight. Monday morning wasn't about revenge. It was about acquisition. And when I walked into Daniel Mercer's office at 9 o'clock a.m., I wasn't an ex-employee. I was competition. Monday, 8:58 a.m. Daniel Mercer's office sat on the 42nd floor. All glass, steel, and power. The kind of place where billion-dollar decisions get made before lunch. I walked in wearing the same calm I had Friday. But this time, I wasn't the employee. I was the play. Daniel didn't waste time. "They blindsided you," he said, sliding a tablet across the table. "And now they've got some junior account manager running point on our expansion." I glanced at the screen. There it was, an email from Mark sent at 7:12 a.m., excited to introduce Kevin as your new strategic lead. Kevin. Kevin once asked me how EBITDA worked. I almost laughed. Daniel leaned back. Tell me something, Jordan. If you were still running this account, what would Q4 look like? There it was, the opening. I slid my proposal across the table, clean, precise, ruthless. Lower overhead, direct oversight, faster scaling. No corporate red tape, I said. And you deal with me, not committees. He flipped through the pages slowly. Every second felt like a loaded gun sitting on the table. You're starting your own firm, already did, not planning, not thinking about it. Did. Daniel studied me. You realize they'll come after you. I shrugged. They fired me, non-competes void. I checked. Silence. Then he smiled, slow. Dangerous, I like bold moves. He tapped the proposal. Can you transition us in 30 days? I didn't blink. 15. That's when his assistant knocked and stepped in. Mark Reynolds on line 1 says it's urgent. Oh, that was fast. Daniel looked at me, then hit decline. Tell him I'm in a meeting. He stood up and extended his hand. Draft the transfer paperwork. If legal clears it, we're moving. Just like that, 8 figures, walking. By 11:17 a.m., my old company's stock dipped 3%. By noon, Mark called me. I let it ring, twice, 3 times, then voicemail. His voice wasn't calm anymore. Jordan, we need to talk. Yeah, now you do. I stood at the window overlooking the city, phone in my hand, heart steady. They thought Friday was the end of my story. It wasn't. It was their mistake. And the real damage, it hadn't even hit them yet. Mark didn't wait for a call back. By 3:30 p.m., he was standing in the lobby of Daniel's building. I know because Daniel texted me. Your old boss is downstairs. Should I send him up? I smiled at the screen. Yeah, I replied. Let's have some fun. I stayed seated in the conference room when Mark walked in, and the look on his face, priceless. Shock first, then anger, then that thin layer of panic he tried and failed to hide. Jordan, he said sharply. What the hell is going on? Daniel didn't even pretend to smooth it over. We're reviewing our partnership, he said calmly. Mark turned to me. You're poaching our client? Poaching. That word always cracks me up. You fired me, I said evenly. Friday, remember, 4:57 p.m., his jaw tightened. You signed agreements. You terminated them when you terminated me. Silence. You could feel the temperature in the room drop. Mark tried switching tactics, softer tone. Look, this doesn't have to get messy. We can work something out. Translation, please don't gut my revenue stream. Daniel folded his hands. Jordan built this account. We value loyalty. That word hit Mark like a slap. Loyalty, he swallowed. This is business, Mark snapped. I nodded slowly. Exactly. He stepped closer to the table. You think you can handle an account this size alone? There it was. Doubt, dismissal, the same arrogance from Friday. I leaned forward slightly. You mean like I've been doing for the last 3 years while you took credit? That landed. Daniel didn't say a word, but he didn't need to. Mark looked around the room and realized something awful. He wasn't in control anymore. He turned back to Daniel. If you walk, we'll pursue legal action. Daniel's expression didn't change. On what grounds? Mark had nothing. Because legally, he knew they messed up. He shot me one last look, not confident anymore, just furious. You're making a mistake, he said. I stood up. No, I replied calmly. You made one, and as security escorted him out of the building, ironic, right? I felt it, that shift. Power doesn't scream. It sits quietly while everyone else panics. By 5:02 p.m. 5 minutes past the time they fired me, Daniel's legal team emailed over the draft transfer agreement. And this time, I wasn't the one getting escorted out. By 6:43 p.m., the paperwork was done. Not in progress, not pending review. Done. Daniel's legal team moved fast, elite firms always do. My new LLC was officially contracted as the strategic lead for their expansion. 15-day transition. Immediate advisory control. 8 figures, transferred, clean. I signed the final document on an iPad overlooking the city skyline. And just like that, I wasn't unemployed anymore. I was a CEO. My phone buzzed nonstop. Former coworkers texting. Is it true? Did Mercer really pull the account? What's happening? I didn't respond. At 7:12 p.m., Mark sent one final email. Subject line, we need to resolve this. I opened it. Long paragraph, corporate tone, thinly veiled threats, mentions of future consequences and industry reputation. Desperation wrapped in legal vocabulary. I forwarded it to my attorney. Then I blocked his number. Across town, I knew exactly what was happening. Emergency board meeting. Finance team recalculating projections. Investors asking hard questions. Losing Mercer wasn't a scratch, it was a hemorrhage. You don't lose your biggest client and walk it off. You bleed. Around 8:30 p.m., Daniel poured 2 glasses of whiskey in his office. To bold moves, he said. I clinked my glass against his. To bad decisions, I replied. Because here's the thing nobody talks about. Companies don't fail because of competition. They fail because of ego. Mark thought he was untouchable. Thought talent was replaceable. Thought leverage belonged to the title, not the person doing the work. He confused position with power. Big mistake. By Tuesday morning, industry news quietly reported that Mercer Industries had restructured vendor alignment. Polite way of saying. They walked, and my old company's stock dropped 9% by noon. 9, that's not fluctuation, that's fallout. Later that night, I stood in my apartment, city lights reflecting off the windows. Friday at 4:57 p.m., they escorted me out like I was disposable. By Monday night, I owned their biggest revenue stream. They thought they fired me. What they really did was fund my launch. And the best part, I wasn't done building, not even close. Hit like and press, subscribe for more interesting revengeful stories.